endless skies. Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive,
So thank you so much for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name is Chris Kalabukas, and it's my mission to interview 1,000 digital nomads. That's right, folks, 1,000 digital nomads to tell us about how they leapt into the life and how they can help you do the same thing. So today we have a very special guest, and why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you leapt into the life.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris, for having me and for asking me to do this. And I'm Kimberly Ann, and I was like an actual full-time digital nomad, but now I'm an expat. So I do live in Portugal at this moment. I hope to be a digital nomad again,
Hmm.
but in 2021 I moved into a van and I traveled the United States for a year. And
Wow.
then
What made you
yeah,
want to do that?
awesome. Because two reasons. One, I wanted to lower my overhead. No, three reasons. Okay, I wanted to lower my overhead. So my overhead during work, because I had a brick and mortar, was an acupuncturist and having employees and this huge storefront and a bunch of things,
Hmm.
I was spending 10,000 a month. So that was my
Wow.
overhead. And yeah, it was crazy. And then during COVID, I got it down to five, and I was like, yes, I can live on 5,000 a month, which still seems like an
Seems
awful
like a lot
lot.
of money, right? I mean, for us in America, it's kind of like that seems like nothing, but in the rest of the world, it's a lot.
Right, right. And I didn't think it was a lot at the time because it was down from 10.
Yeah.
So I thought that was amazing. And then I thought, what if I could get it down to two?
I love it.
How could I do that? And so I had a passive income at that time of 2,000 a month. And I thought, well, if I could go down to two, I could just not work. But I'm a workaholic, so that didn't work out. But
Not
anyway,
work. I love that. I don't want to work either.
but I did still work because I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, but you're
So
working for fun as opposed to for
yeah,
money, right? It's
that is true.
completely different.
That is absolutely true. Yeah. So that was one of the reasons I moved in the van. Then I also wanted to move to, or had planned and was hoping to move to Portugal. And I thought, can I really leave the country and not see my own country first?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it just felt weird. It felt icky. And I thought, no, I need to see my own country first. And so that was, yeah. So
So
yeah,
it was in
Portugal wanting to see the
drive to
country.
get to sort of like a minimalist state of living. Were you here in San Francisco, Marin, or
Yeah, I was in Marin.
so it
Yeah.
that's an expensive place to live. So I'm
The
surprised you were
most.
able to get it down even that low.
I know, but I couldn't go out. I could only hike. Like I couldn't see a movie. I couldn't go to dinner. I couldn't, it was very
Nothing that
limited.
costs money.
Yeah. I had to stop working out. I mean, the whole thing. But anyway, it was fine. And then in the van, I spent a little bit more now and again, but I could live on 2,000 a month in the van.
So
So,
you shut
and
down your practice?
I did.
Wow. How did your patients feel about that?
They were not happy.
I guess.
They were upset.
Oh no.
Really
How did you
upset.
get over that?
Well, I in the 90s I was a teacher when you leave your students you miss them, but
Right.
you got to do for you, and it was a very similar situation where I said, "Well, you can still reach out to me." They don't.
Right.
But but yeah, because people have lives and they go on with their lives,
Oh yeah.
and I refer them to somebody else. I didn't just drop them on their heads.
Right.
That's not okay.
And
So,
then
yeah,
so did you own a home there or were you renting?
renting. I've never owned,
You've
which
never
is very
owned.
no,
Nice.
which is very sad, and it is like it's painful to even talk about. So
Okay. So
there's a
if you
huge
don't
drama there.
if you don't want to go there, we don't have to go there.
No, I can go there. I don't mind. It's just like because everyone in my family has owned multiple homes except for me. But
Right.
anyway, I was renting. My landlord was amazing. And we're still friends. We
Hmm.
still talk.
Hmm.
And he's just phenomenal person. And he was the one who, when I moved to Portugal, you have to have your passport sent back to somebody, and I had it sent back to him. And so he was been really amazing and helpful along the way. And he was excited about the van and
Nice. So have you always wanted to travel? Was that always a bug in your ear?
yeah, always. Yeah. So it started when I was 9 years old and my sister was 16 and my parents took us on this is what I call it in my 9-year-old mind, a whirlwind castle tour of France.
Nice.
So, and that's what we did. We did go visit castles in France, and it was kind of a whirlwind because, I was like, what's happening? And that's when I started my toilet paper collection,
Wait a minute.
which I
Hold
which
on.
I still have.
Go into that a little bit more. Toilet paper collection. What are you actually
Yeah,
collecting? Just like
toilet paper.
individual pieces or
Yes, yes, because I had never experienced toilet paper that wasn't super soft.
so
And
this
I
is
was
this is your first experience with French toilet paper.
Yes, and I
Gotcha.
was shocked that it was like sandpaper.
Wow.
And I was like, how can people do this? This is weird. Now I'm a little bit, more
I love
under.
this, but see, see, it's almost like you were thinking ahead. It's like I'm going to be traveling. I need to travel light. So what's light? Don't individual pieces of toilet paper, so I can.
And I
Here's a
wrote
treasure.
where I was, like I wrote like Blois, 1970, whatever
Wow,
year it was,
I love that.
paper. And I still have my little kid handwriting. Yeah. And I didn't have any money, so it was free
That's
to
the
collect.
best souvenir ever.
Yeah,
I've never heard that. That's great.
it's weird. I was a
No,
wood
it's
kid.
great. I mean, you
What
you
to
made
wear.
do.
It was weird.
So
So
when you like, is there something that was there a particular moment when you realized I want to do this now as opposed to any other time? Was it COVID or does
yeah.
what triggered you into jumping into it?
Yeah. So I'd been wanting to travel for 10 years before more than that, but I'd been really researching it for 10 years before I did it.
Hmm.
And I had a friend that wanted to move to Costa Rica, and her and I would talk all the time about Costa Rica. And I was looking at different places and reading as much information as I could get my hands on and everything. And then COVID happened, and then I realized I could live on 2000 a month. And I had a partner at the time. And I said to him, hey, like I want to quit and he's very financially secure.
Hmm.
Finances are really important to this
Hmm.
person, super important. And they, as a matter of fact, when they started going out with me, they had a checklist of everything that they were looking for in a partner, and owning their own home was the only one I didn't check.
Oh, so
And
you were 90% there.
yeah, but that really bothered them, I
Right.
think, on a subconscious level, because they're just a financially secure person. That's all I
Right.
can say.
So
So
that's kind of a big thing when when you're into finances. That is a big thing.
it's a big
That
thing.
yeah.
And we had traveled together and talked about moving together, but they had a young child, like 9-year-old, 10-year-old son. And so I would have to wait till the son graduated, obviously. And I was willing to do that. But so we'd gone to Mexico and I wasn't into Mexico, but he was like, okay, I'll move to Mexico. I just want to get out of the US.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. And we met this other couple there that had moved there and was running an Airbnb, and they were amazing, and a lot of fantasy stuff happening. So I said to them, okay, well, I'm going to quit my job, which was financial security. So that was terrifying for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm going to leave my apartment. What?
Oh
And
boy.
yeah, these are my options. I'm either going to move into a van and stay in your driveway. Oh no. Or I'm going to move into a tiny home because I had a tiny home obsession at the time. Or I'm going to
Who
get
isn't obsessed with tiny homes? They're amazing. I
so
love those things.
love them. And I stayed in one like as an Airbnb, so I love them a couple times actually. And then I said, but my top choice is to move somewhere near you. I was about a 40-minute drive from them. And I said, I want to move somewhere near you in a studio apartment so we can be closer and take our relationship to the next level, what
Nice.
nobody wants to hear ever. And they broke up with me over email.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, it's funny. We're still friends. And what's real, well, we weren't for a year or two
Did they
years, but
take all those steps first before you broke up, or was it just thinking about taking the steps
I would
first?
just talk to them about it. I didn't
Oh,
do
okay.
anything. I still
Okay.
had my job. I still had my apartment, but they were
So
like,
this
this
is
is
not a future that they wanted to see.
Yeah, I can't handle this. And what's funny is I found an email that they had written to me after where they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did that. Give me another chance." And I was like, "Oh, hell no."
The ship has sailed.
But it was funny because we broke up in June and they sent the email in September.
Oh, wow. That's a long
Yeah.
time.
It's a long time. And we had talked like twice between that time. And I had said, oh, hell no. So in September, oh, please, what can I do? Da, 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 whatever. And I just sent them a text and I said, I hadn't read it. I said, I finally actually thoroughly read your email from September, in whatever, 2022 or 2021. And
Hmm.
I said, oh, it was so sad. I said, had I actually read it, I might have given you oh, well.
See,
But
fate meant for you not to read that email when it came,
yeah,
basically.
and I
Yeah.
just when I make up my mind, yeah, I'm
Oh
just
yeah, I
done.
mean it's tough. So was
Yeah,
that the thing that drove you to
that was it.
decide, okay, now's the time?
That was it. That was it. But it
Nice.
takes me a long time to plan things. I'm a planner,
Hmm.
even though it's weird to say that because a lot of people call me a free spirit, and I always say, but I'm such a planner. So it took me a year. So I had to find the van. I had to research all the vans. Well, then I was like, well, I might as well move into a van then.
Hmm.
So I had to research the van. I had to find a builder. I had to test drive all the different vans.
Wow. You didn't just
Yeah,
go to the lot and buy something. You had it all
no, I
made up.
dove deep into
Nice.
the whole van life thing.
Nice.
And then, yeah, and I stayed at work. So I stayed at work for another year because I couldn't just drop my patients. That didn't seem responsible to me. I mean, not that
Yeah.
I'm not judging other
You
people.
remind me of somebody else I interviewed, a friend of mine, Kim, who's also she's still in the process of planning it all out, like exactly when it's going to.
Okay.
She's got like dates and everything. Oh, this is when I'm going to look at the van, and this is when I'm going to do this. So it's not
Good.
unheard of for people
No,
to want to do this.
no, it's not. It just, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think I didn't plan enough
Hmm.
because I really didn't know what I was getting myself into moving into
But
a
you can
van.
never plan enough. You know that.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So I had the whole thing in my head and I had a friend years ago who told me like when you write in a calendar, you write back down from like let's say I want to do something in 1 year. So on day today I would write 365 and then tomorrow 364.
Hmm.
And so I counted down. So I
Countdown.
did that. Yeah. And it was funny from a year to the date that I made the decision is when I moved into the van.
Oh
And
wow.
from
You actually
yeah,
kept a schedule. That's great.
the same month, and then a year later, after living in the van to the month, I moved to Portugal.
Wow. Was that
Yeah,
your plan from the beginning? Was a month and a year in the van, and then to Portugal after that?
yeah, that was the plan. Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk about funding. So at that point, I mean, obviously you need to fund your journey. So did you have like a stash of cash ready to go for
No,
your for your year?
no, I had some passive income. So two things is one, was an author, and I had published 20 novels. So I did
Wow.
have, yeah, they're not doing so
Congratulations. That's awesome.
well. Thank you, thank you.
See, I think
But
people when people think about passive income, they think about selling digital products online. But writers have been getting passive income for centuries, right?
yeah.
That is passive income right there.
It is. It is, but it's very up and down. And
Oh yeah,
unless I market it, it's not stable.
for sure.
And then I have I own some property, but it's not my own house or anything with family. And
Hmm.
it's a large group of people. And so I do have a small percentage, very small, but it's enough
Right.
that I
So this
can.
this 2K that you're talking about is where you were at, or 5K, or
Yeah.
there's some number
Yeah,
of passive income you had,
2,000 passive income. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you
Give or
figured that was
take.
going to be enough to take you through?
Yeah. Well, give or take some months or more.
Hmm.
It goes about 2,000 to 3,500. So it's
Nice.
between those numbers. Yeah. So,
Some people are thinking to themselves, I could never live on that little, but it's doable. It's
oh,
absolutely doable.
yeah, there's this woman that a friend of mine who was in Cambodia met, and I have a friend, she lived in Cambodia, Nepal, Thailand, Bulgaria, Albania on $700 a month.
Wow.
And that's her passive income. And then she met a woman in Cambodia who lives on 500 a month.
Wow. That's
And she has,
amazing.
yeah, she has her own place. She goes out. I mean, she
Yeah,
doesn't
she
go
probably
out.
doesn't even have to scrimp and save. It's probably plenty of money
Yeah,
to get to go out on that much. See,
yeah,
I think here we have this weird perception about how much things cost because
we do.
things are expensive relative to the rest of the world. And there's also the whole sort of like difference between people need, X amount of money. They think they need a super high amount of money to be able to go ahead and do this, when the
Mm.
reality is that they don't, because the costs, if you do it right, are pretty low.
Very low. And I have several friends that are full-time digital nomads on 2000 a month.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you didn't have
Yeah.
to worry about hustling or anything like that while you were doing this. You could just enjoy it.
Well, I could, but like I said, I'm a workaholic. So I
Right.
decided that I'd write 6 more books in 1 year.
Nice.
And so, yeah,
And you didn't use AI.
no, I didn't use AI. It was before AI. No, no, you can kind of tell when a book's written by AI. So
Oh, absolutely.
no, no, I did. So I did, and they were short. They were novellas, but I did write and publish 6 more books within the
Hmm.
year. It was in the van. It was a little
Nice. Nice. So you just set off from Marin County, and where did you end up? Where did you go? Like all over?
Well, first,
Or
well, first I decided to go north. I'm pretty sure I went north first. And I went to Oregon. Oh yeah, because I went to Bend, Descend on Bend, which is a big
oh, I love
nomad.
Bend. It's a cool
Yeah,
town.
yeah. And they had a van life festival thing,
Oh, nice.
but there were no full-timers. There were only that I could find. There were
Mm.
only part-timers, and so I was a little disillusioned. And then I met a friend there, and she was moving to Tucson, Arizona, and I decided, okay, that sounds good. Uh,
I'll just
why not?
turn around and go back that way.
I've never been to Tucson. I've never been. Why not? So I went down, and I did a lot of stops along the way,
Hmm.
obviously, do, and I fell in love with Sedona, of
I hear it's
course. And
beautiful. I've never been, but I hear it's beautiful.
it's amazing. It's
Mm.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it's one of those things where I was like, I'll stay 3 days here and then I would stay 2 weeks. And you
Yeah.
can
Hmm.
because you're in a van.
You're completely flexible. You can do whatever you want. I love.
Yeah, it was
Was
amazing.
it really amazing? Like, did you ever feel concerned about it, or did you feel like this is great? You just felt so free to do whatever you wanted.
It took me about 6 months to figure out what the hell was going on.
But you were
It
ping
took me,
ponging around the around the country.
well, I stayed for a while in Tucson. I stayed for a couple of months in Tucson.
Hmm.
It took me a while to get the hang of it.
Mm.
Really kind of settle into knowing where I wanted to put things and knowing and having a schedule and sticking to what I wanted to do and
Yeah.
yeah, and
Did you
figuring out how
find
much
that
to
your
drive
plans changed a lot, or as
a
you were
lot.
like as you get into it, you realized, well, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. I'll have to pivot and do something else.
Totally. Changed
Mm.
completely. Everything changed, everything out the window. And at first I stayed in like what are they called? Like campgrounds. Like what
Hmm.
are those called? And I didn't like that. So I
Mm.
found early on that was not for me. And I prefer boondocking, which is staying illegally, or it's not really illegally because you can stay in these places, but it's not paying for them.
Mm.
And and I in the end I ended up realizing that I like to stay in residential areas
Mm.
because it was safer.
Hmm.
Or I felt safer. And some of the easiest places to stay were Los Angeles and San Francisco, which is crazy but true.
Right. So you
Yeah.
would just sort of find a spot to park and that was it? I mean, how do you didn't you have
Uh,
to replenish or whatever? I forget. Like what kind of van did you have? Does it have all the
okay. So it was a Nissan NV 2500. So it was short but with a
Hmm.
high top, 6 feet top. And then I had it converted, which I wanted because I knew I'd spend a lot of time in the van and
Right.
I wanted it to be beautiful. But if I had to do it over again, I would never do that ever in a million years because every single thing that could break broke twice.
Oh no.
Everything. I had no power for months. I had no running water for months. I
Jeez.
had the sliding door didn't open for almost the whole time I was in the van. I mean, everything broke.
Right.
Everything will break. Everything.
So
It's
lesson
part of
learned, do not do this. Just buy an RV Off the shelf? Would that be the recommendation?
Buy a camper van. Buy
Camper
a van
van.
that's made because then you can go to Ford
Right.
or you can go to Volkswagen and they will fix it. I had to drive back to my person that made my camper van or
Oh,
my
yeah.
I had to drive back to Sacramento several times
Oh,
to have
no.
yeah, things fixed when I was like over here in Texas or whatever, and
Right.
it was really challenging. And then I found another van builder in Arizona, and he did a lot of work that I actually needed, some work
Hmm.
that I needed done. So it was costly.
So what's the worst, best and worst thing about van life?
Well, the best thing is freedom,
Hmm.
and
Go
meeting
anywhere,
the
do
people.
anything.
Yeah, and I did a lot of like Utah I did for a month and what's it called? I always forget the names of places now that I live here. New Mexico.
Hmm.
I did for a month. So seeing all the things, being free, being able to pack up and leave whenever you want, meeting all the people was the most amazing thing. And the worst thing was everything breaking and not knowing what to do
Right.
and being in the snow without any solar. My solar stopped working
Oh,
and
geez.
yeah.
So it was mostly equipment failures, but if you had not bought, if you had not done it that way, if you'd done it with a different kind of van, it would have been better. That
I
would have been eliminated.
I don't know for sure, but
Right.
but I
And
think
then
so.
would you say you're more of an introvert or extrovert? You feel extroverted to me.
Yeah, I'm an extrovert.
So
Yeah.
you had no trouble finding new people to talk to and things like that. So you didn't have any loneliness on the road that didn't
I
bother you?
did. I did have loneliness. So my
Mm,
first 2 months when I was in the Pacific Northwest before I went down to Arizona, that's when I feel like I found my people in
right.
Arizona. But in the Pacific Northwest, I didn't know what I was doing. I was confused. I didn't have the Wi-Fi situation figured out.
Mm,
I didn't have a hotspot. I didn't, so my whatever I had at the time was not visible. I ended up switching to visible, which is really low price Wi-Fi
yep.
for your phone, but you can use it as a hotspot. It's great. I love it. But I didn't have anything, and I ended up buying a hotspot. I didn't have anything, so I went for days without being in contact with anybody,
Wow.
and
Yeah, I
it
can
was
imagine.
really I've never because I've lived alone for 20 years, around 20 years. And I've never been lonely and I've never felt loneliness like this. It was
Mm,
really bad. And I just remember sitting on a beach and just feeling like, oh, and I
oh
had my
no.
dog.
Hmm.
So
Oh, so you're
yeah,
traveling with your pet, dog your whole time?
my dog the whole time.
Oh, wow. What
Yeah.
challenges were there? You must have had some challenges there.
Yeah, he was old. He was 15 and
Hmm.
he got sick on the road, really sick.
Oh
And
no.
so finding vets and having to deal with that was really hard. But yeah, and leaving him in the van without knowing if it was too hot and having him sad because
Yeah.
I left him for a couple hours, that was hard. And yeah, I
Hmm.
couldn't leave if it was hot, too hot. So that was challenging. Yeah, it was challenging, but it was great. It was great having him. I'm glad, really glad that I did. And you meet more people with dogs. You just do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a conversation starter.
Yeah. It really is, yeah. And even when I was hiking in Utah and I met this couple who they just found me again.
Seriously,
Yeah,
randomly found you again.
yeah, they said, "Oh, you were recommended to us on Substack." I'm like, "What? They were my favorite people. Like, how did you what?" So, yeah, and I met them hiking and they so what are you doing today? And I said it was in Arches National Park and I said, "Oh, whatever. I'm staying in Moab. I'm just parking wherever, but I didn't feel really safe in Moab."
Mm,
And I said, "But I have my dog." And they said, "Oh, why don't you come camp with us? We have a spot." And
nice.
it's already paid for. So I went and camped with them and stayed overnight, and it was just really great. And they fell in love with the dog. It was the dog was the glue.
I love it. So
Yeah.
did you spend a lot of time? It sounds like you spent a lot of time in the Southwest. Did you do the rest of the country as well?
I love the South. I'm
Mm.
one of those weird people that loves the South. I'm almost want to like
What's wrong with
apologize.
the South? They get the best food.
They do, but it's pretty racist. So
That's
that's,
true. But I do feel like I was reincarnated from somebody from the South because I love Southern food. I just cannot get enough of it.
well, yeah, I understand that. So yeah, so I went Pacific Northwest, then back down to Arizona, then all the way across to South Carolina, North
Hmm.
Carolina, and then back across Arkansas and Tennessee, Arkansas, and then down Mississippi, and
Hmm.
then back across again. And then that's when I really hit more time. I'd already spent a month in Arizona, but that's when I hit Utah, New Mexico, and Colorado. I spent a lot of time in Colorado, and then I went back up again to the Pacific Northwest, and I really spent way more time in the Pacific Northwest. So I didn't do the East Coast.
I was going
I
to
didn't
ask,
do
not Florida, not the East Coast at
I
all.
did do Florida. I did.
Okay.
I did do Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Because I had to go through Florida, Georgia, Carolinas. Yeah.
and your second time to the Pacific Northwest was very different because by that time you've had a lot of experience doing this.
I did. And I visited my cousin lives in, well, now she lives in Paris, but she lived in Portland at the time. And so I got to stay with her and it was really fun. I fell in love with Estonia and I wanted to do the, I always forget the name, on the Port Townsend.
Right.
So I wanted to do Port Angelo, Port Townsend, and then I have a really good friend who lives on San Juan Island.
Hmm.
I took my van out to on the ferry to San Juan Island. It was
Nice.
so cool. Yeah, it was magical.
It sounds like you didn't regret a minute of doing what you were doing.
No,
Like not a minute.
well, probably a minute. There
So
were
thank
some
God I'm not stuck in the Marin County when I'm around
there
all this
were,
beauty.
there, there were hard times. There were hard,
Mm,
and I went back to Marin several times, and I knew where to stay. I knew where to. I was in Sausalito, and I used to live in Sausalito, so I was thinking, wow, I can just stay here in my van for free. Ha
surrounded by, $10 million homes.
Yeah, and the beauty of the day. So it's
Exactly.
hard. Van life is not easy. It is
Yeah.
not an easy life at
Hmm.
all. It's not. I could not do it for more than a year. I want to get a van now in Portugal,
Hmm.
a dream, fantasy dream, and I want to travel around Europe, but I don't want to live in it.
Right. Well, what's the hardest part about it? You mean you had problems, you had equipment problems, but if somebody's thinking about it, because that's another dream of a lot of people. I mean, I'm not specifically digital nomads, but van life in general.
Yeah.
What are the hard parts?
It's hard to find a shower.
Hmm.
It's hard to
Basic
wash your clothes.
logistics.
Yeah, you can't wash your clothes. You have to go to a laundromat. I'm not a
Right.
laundromat. I don't like a laundromat. Sorry.
Mm,
I just don't. But you get used to it and you learn how to do it. Obviously, you have to. So
right.
yeah, so the one app that I used that a lot of people use in the US is iOverlander,
Hmm.
and it's an app and it's free. And so you can find out where to shower. You can find like I also forget the name of this, but a gym membership at the cheap gym, Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness, yeah, they're everywhere.
And yeah, all over the country, and you can shower and you can work out, and it's really great. But there were places that I went, like Escalade, Esplanade, I forget, but there were places that I went that didn't have a Planet Fitness.
Mm.
And fine on iOverlander where you can pay for a $10 shower or $5 shower. It's
Oh,
really cool.
nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So there are
So
lots of resources out there for people who are
that's
thinking about it.
lots. So that for me, that was for me, parking wasn't hard. Parking where to sleep, that was my biggest concern. That was really easy for me.
Hmm.
And I used to plan ahead and I'm going to be here and I'm going to park here. And then I stopped even caring. And I would look on Zillow and I would find the multi-million dollar homes and I would park in that. Yep. And I would park
Nice.
in the neighborhoods because I thought if anything happens, they're going to call the cops.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's good. That's actually pretty smart.
Thank you. Thank you. Came up with it. But
And then
yeah, yeah,
so you were writing more books as you were traveling?
yeah, I was. Yeah. Yeah. So I wrote six books on the road.
So six more, and that helped to fund your travels going next. So
A little
yeah,
bit. Yeah. They didn't make a lot of money, unfortunately. And then trying to move to Portugal, I had to do all the paperwork while I was in the van without a printer.
right.
So that was very, very challenging.
Mm. So you already had a plan that this was going to end, but you weren't sure where you were going to be when it ended, or you were sure you were going to bring it back to Sausalito. You were going to come
I
back
didn't
to
know.
Raritan County.
Actually, no, I didn't know, but I ended up in Oakland.
Okay, so you were coming back to this area for your end of your year.
I'm familiar, and I knew, okay, I can go to the UPS office, and I knew which one in Marin, and I knew where I could park there,
Hmm.
and I could get this printed or this certified or whatever. I could do all this. I knew where the post offices were. I knew where it was just familiar, so it was easier for me. And then I did end up getting an Airbnb for my last month because I couldn't, I was done with the van. And
Did you sell it?
I did sell it, but I didn't
Hmm.
sell it till about 9 months later. And actually, funny, my ex-partner that didn't want me to move in the van is the one who sold it for me. So, and I gave him a hefty commission,
Nice.
a
So
very hefty commission.
so what made you pick Portugal of all places? And where in Portugal are you?
I'm in Porto.
Okay.
I'm in the
I hear
north, and
that's beautiful.
it's beautiful. Yeah, so it's the second biggest city. Lisbon number one, Porto number two, Braga number three. And I picked Portugal because I'm a Europhile
Hmm.
and because I blame my parents from when we were kids. And my sister ended up moving to France.
Oh, nice.
So when she was in her 20s, because she was fluent in French, which is why my parents picked France for us. She was already fluent at 16. Now she'll
Nice.
probably argue with me and say she wasn't, but she really was. And she's a polyglot.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Nice.
So yeah. So
How's
she
your
moved,
Portuguese?
eh, okay, mais ou menos. It's coming along. So so she was in France, and so I visited a lot. So I did a lot of, and then every year I would work, save my money, and go to Europe.
Hmm.
So I was trying on different countries to see, like, do I want to live in Germany? Do I want to live in
Was this
Prague?
before you went to Portugal?
Yeah,
Or
before I ended up in Portugal, but I'd
oh,
never been
okay.
to Portugal before.
Mm.
Yes, I'd
So,
never visited Portugal. So I'd visited Spain and many, many countries. Italy, I was in love with Italy. I was sure I would end up in Italy.
hmm.
But the visa situation is it's very difficult to get a visa in Italy.
Right. So you actually decided okay, now I've done the van life thing, the moving around. Now I'm definitely going to settle somewhere.
Yeah.
Did you just have you
Well,
decided how long you're going to be? So it's like
it,
for a planner, have you decided, oh, I'm going to be here for a year and then I'm going to move on, or
it settles a hard word for somebody like me because like when I signed the 5 year or 3 year lease or whatever for the acupuncture clinic in Marin County, I signed the lease and I walked out and started crying
oh no.
hysterically because now it was a ball and chain and I couldn't leave.
Yep.
So and perhaps this is why I've never owned a house. We don't know, right? This could be part of the reason.
You have
So
an aversion to it. There you go.
yeah, I just have like a
Yeah.
like feel
I'm
like
trapped.
yeah,
I'm in a cage now. Yeah.
I can't handle it. So I don't know if Portugal is my forever home. I don't know. It is my for now home.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know. But I ended, and when I got here, I didn't have a place to live for 5 months. So I was still a digital nomad
Right.
in Portugal, and it was rough. It
So
was really,
the visa situation the thing that drove you to there as opposed to Italy? Because you would have preferred Italy?
yeah,
Okay.
it was the visa situation, and it's affordable. It's more
Mm,
affordable here. Certain other places are affordable depending on where you go. Like if you're not in a major city, if you're not in Rome, right? You can
right.
find other places that are more affordable in Italy. And I had fallen in love with a town called Padua or Padova, and I really wanted to be there, but I couldn't. I couldn't get the visa. So
What about
and
the
now
costs? With that, was it, I mean, I'm assuming it was more expensive there too.
more than here, but less than the US, less
Mm.
than California.
Was it underneath your threshold of whatever you had coming in?
I didn't even go there because I couldn't have the visa wasn't feasible.
Okay.
So I didn't even get down that far. But I realize now in retrospect that had I looked at Albania and Bulgaria and
Yep.
Greece
Yep.
even, that I might have ended up there in one of those places in
Right.
the
You just didn't visit it, so you don't know.
no. No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really. I just thought get to Europe.
Yep.
That was
And
my
you're about as
thinking.
close to the edge of Europe as you can get. You're in Portugal.
I really am. I really am. It's far from everything. But it's yeah. So I did qualify for the visa. So I thought just get there, get the visa, figure it out from there.
Yep.
And that's yeah, that's how I ended up. And I ended up in Porto only because this is where I found the apartment that I wanted. So I
Nice.
had a list of things that I had to have in my head or in my head, in my heart, whatever, one or the other
In
that
both.
I want, yeah, that I wanted for Portugal. And it was, and this is weird, but I wanted a 3 bedroom, 2 bath for under €1,000 a month.
Wow.
And I
And you
got
found
it.
one.
I
Wow.
found it. Yeah, and I didn't care where it was. I didn't care. I
Hmm.
thought, well, wherever the apartment is where I will be.
Hmm.
It sounds so weird, but that's
But it all worked out. It
yeah,
all
well,
worked
it
out.
worked out. Yeah, it worked out. Yeah, for now. We'll see. For now.
I know you walking distance from everywhere. I'm assuming you walk everywhere and everything's
I'm
close.
about 25 minutes from downtown. So yesterday I had to go to the health center and it was a 30-minute walk. And it's a little, we're not having a heat wave right now. We were, but it was a little warm for me. So I did take the metro back. But I'm just 7-minute walk to the metro line. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm in a good area. I'm not downtown. And now I'm considering for the first time in my life of actually perhaps I'm looking into maybe buying something, maybe.
Ooh.
I know.
Uh-oh. Look
But
out.
my reasoning is I can rent it out.
Right. So and
I
it's another
can.
source of income. And that
It
actually that was
is.
going to ask you is that so where you are right now, you're in good shape with the income that you've got. Did you have to kick it up a notch to cover your costs, or are you in good shape?
Well, I lost some of the passive income.
Mm.
It dropped. So I work. So
Oh,
with work, yes, I can make ends meet with work. I'm
so
not super high up there yet, but yeah.
so what are you doing acupuncture or what are you doing?
No, so I'm consulting for people that want to move abroad.
Nice.
Of course. But I didn't start doing that. I started with my Substack
Hmm.
and I started writing weekly articles and I was writing weekly articles for 1 year and it started people started supporting it. It's free. Everything's free.
Hmm.
My Substack articles are free. My podcast, I have a podcast. I had a podcast in van life too, which was pretty fun. And
Nice.
that's and then the podcast that I do now for living abroad or living in Portugal, I talk about both, is free. But people started donating. And then people asked me if I would do consulting. So I kind of fell into it. And then somebody actually reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in writing for International Living Magazine? And I said,
Nice.
yes.
The
So
gold standard of expat.
I know. So I started writing for them. And then they launched a new product called something in Portugal. Portugal Made Easy. I always forget the name
Hmm.
of it. And they asked me if I would be the face of the product. And I was like, yes.
Wow.
I know.
Fantastic.
I know. It's cool. So, and then they
You
also
can't
asked
leave
me,
now.
I know, right? I know. I thought about that. And then
More chains.
they asked if I would do a video, like an intro video, and my background is in television.
Mm.
So I used to be a TV producer. I used to be on TV. I mean, this is, 3 or 4 or 5 lifetimes ago. But and directing and producing and writing and blah blah blah. So I have a background, so I know what to do.
Hmm.
So because of that, they were like, "Oh, you know what to," because most people they ask for
You
they
don't
don't know
need
what
to
to
take
do.
as much direction as these other people we're talking to.
Yeah, I'm doing everything myself. I'm producing it all myself. So
Mm.
they're like, yeah, just go. You know what to do. So and I've edited. So I know how to do. Luckily,
Nice.
it's all the stuff that I left behind in another life is
Yeah.
coming back
It's still there though. It's still there.
still there, but it's helpful now.
Mm.
It's super helpful. So yeah, so I'm doing a lot of work with international living. So I'm really grateful, thankful. They're great. I love working with them. They're really
Nice.
great.
And so that's how you're funding along with whatever passive income you still had from before.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then one thing I want to touch on what you mentioned. You mentioned you went to a health center. What do you do about healthcare where you are? How's that work out?
Yeah, and my health center story is not a good one. So I went to the health center yesterday.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you the story really quick. I went to the health center. I was supposed to get some immunizations, which I don't even like getting vaccines, but I was
Mm.
supposed to get, okay, I'll get them. So I waited 40 minutes and then a screaming child came in. And I mean, screaming, if I imitated it,
Oh,
you would
geez.
think all
I
the
hate
words.
that.
High pitched, just screams. And I left. And on my way out, I fell and I scraped my hand.
Oh,
And
no.
as one of my dog goes to daycare. So the doggy daycare guy said it was one of those days where three bad things happen. You need to not leave your house. If you had those vaccines, you would have had tetanus.
Yeah.
So, but so there's universal health care. I used to call it free health care, and then somebody on Substack got mad at me, and they were right.
Hmm.
It's not free because we do pay in taxes for the
Yep.
health care.
Yeah.
So it's universal health care,
Yep.
and everything is covered. You don't have to pay, but it's not the easiest system.
Mm.
So you will have to wait. If you need something, you will have to wait and get on a waiting list for months in advance or a
Yep.
month in advance, depending on where you are. And then for the vaccines, I had to email them because I couldn't make the appointment myself. And
Right.
then they give you an appointment. It's this date at this time. Well, what if
Right.
I can't see it at that date at that
Too
time?
bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I'm
So,
familiar with this kind of thing. It's like the Canadian healthcare system is very similar to that. I mean,
okay,
you don't actually have to pay out of pocket, but it does come out of your taxes, right?
right.
So I'm assuming your taxes are fairly high there.
Right. But I would rather pay taxes and have my healthcare covered than pay what I was paying in the US, which was almost 50% in taxes. And it wasn't quite, but including the sales tax, it was because I had high sales tax too, and not have any healthcare coverage.
Yeah, and
So
then
the
if you
high,
do pay for healthcare coverage, it's astronomical. It's
right.
astronomical. Yeah.
It was astronomical. Yeah.
Hmm.
So there's like a man in his skivvies across the street. I'm not gonna look. It's very distracting. Like, stop,
Turn the camera around. No,
put some clothes on. No, you don't want to see it. Um, stop it. Anyway, I
didn't want to X-rate this show, but who knows?
healthcare, yeah. So the lowest is 27% here. And so it's, of course, it's based on how much money you make.
Sure.
And the highest is 48%, which is quite high.
Hmm.
But again, it does cover your healthcare. And there
Yeah.
are ways that I know my friends have gotten around paying certain things that I can't talk about because I don't know, because I don't make enough money to
Yeah.
do it. But maybe an accountant can help. I don't know.
But
But
you're an expat on a budget, so you care
I
about.
expand on a budget. And so I also run everything through Portugal.
Hmm.
So your first year, you don't have to. You have to file, but you don't have to. If you have a business here, you don't have to set it up and you don't have to pay taxes and everything. So I came in on the NHR, which is non-habitual resident tax scheme, they call
Hmm.
it. So I actually have very low tax rate for 10 years,
So this is
which
digital nomad thing? Is that what that is?
no,
Or
the D7 visa is a passive income visa. That's what I'm on. The D8 is the digital nomad visa. But this was NHR, which was a totally different thing.
Mm,
It was just a low. They say no taxes for 10 years, but it's not no taxes, it's low taxes.
right.
So it's got like a 20
So who
something.
is that, like retirees and people like that qualify for that, or who would qualify for that?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but they don't
Mm.
have it anymore. So nobody
Oh
qualifies for it.
no.
They have a version 2.0, but people say, I'm
Damn, they
not.
keep changing the rules. I hate that. Well, I mean the Greek visa, for example, the Greek visa was 250,000 and now they
I
made it
remember.
800,000. Isn't that
Oh, I thought it
ridiculous?
was 500 now. It's
No,
800.
well, in Athens it's 800
Oh,
and some of the
got it.
islands is 500. But it's
Got it.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, do they want people to
And
show up or not? Come on.
no, they don't. And the golden visa here is no more. They have a way, and I know somebody who did this. She bought in. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get all my money back in 5 years." I'm like, "No, you won't.
No,
Don't count on that. You're not
no.
gonna. I mean, really? You think so?"
Yeah.
And I have a friend who came here on the golden visa 5 years ago. He bought properties. He's redoing them. He's amazing, but it's a lot of work.
Oh
He's
yeah.
doing them himself. I mean, it's a lot of work. And he still doesn't have his residency card
Uh-oh.
5 years later. So he can't leave the country.
Uh-oh. That's not
Yeah.
good.
So anyway, so back to the healthcare quickly. So the quickly, not quickly, is the you can get private healthcare. And so I pay 130 euros a month for my private healthcare.
Hmm.
And my copay it was 17, I think it's 18 now, euros a visit, doctor visit, but everything's covered. So I can get an MRI for that. I can get, like, I'm getting all my scans,
Nice.
DEXA.
And this is in Portugal. Like you don't have to do a secondary company like Genki or anything like that.
No, it's
Mm,
here.
mm,
Yeah, it's here. So
nice.
they have different, I go through Medish, which I don't necessarily recommend. I'm gonna probably, actually, I should reach out to the the healthcare person because I do want to switch, but they're all similar.
Hmm.
And there's, 5 or 6 different ones. And I actually have a person that, you can go through or whatever, you can find somebody and they can find the different options for you and they don't charge you and then
Yeah.
you
But in the end, even with private healthcare and your taxes, it's still way cheaper than the States. Like way, 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 way cheaper.
I didn't pay taxes this year. And I started, I just filed for 2024. So I only had a 1 month, 2 months. I was teaching English and I did claim of course, the money I made
Hmm.
for that, but I didn't pay, but I do have to pay that
Right.
value
Value
added
added
tax.
tax. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do have to pay that. But if you have your own business and you buy things, like I bought a sound booth that's over there. I'll show you my sound booth. I'm very excited about my sound booth. Oh,
Whoa, look at that.
that's quite fancy. So you can
That's
you can write.
nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you actually step inside that and there's like it's totally enclosed and everything? I love that.
And then that is a write-off.
Hmm.
So write-off meaning I can get my VAT back from that.
Sure.
So
Yeah, because it just goes up the chain. Yeah, I remember that. In Canada, we had the goods and services tax, the GST, which was a VAT too, and you didn't
okay.
have to like not everybody along the chain had to pay for it. It's just like if you bought it and then somebody else, only one person along the chain needed to pay for it. So
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I
cool,
don't know. I don't understand the whole thing. I just got an accountant and they do it. But I did set up 3 businesses here.
nice.
So,
So it's easy to
so
set up a business there.
yeah, I mean, I paid an accountant to do it, but they charged me 100 euros.
Wow, so it's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. And then they set up the businesses, but then you have to file green receipts, they're called. I don't know
Uh-oh.
why I'm quoting this because they're just called green receipts. I don't know what I'm doing with my hand, but they're called green receipts and you have to file every month or every 3 months. But
Hmm.
I have my accountant do that. I
So
paid.
the $64,000 question, what's the internet like there? Because there's people who are
Great.
want to move and they do streaming videos and stuff like that. How is it?
Great.
It
It's
is?
great. It's
Excellent.
fantastic. Yeah,
You've
I have
never
no
had any
problem.
problems with it.
Well, it did go down twice. Now that you
Not
say
in the
that.
middle, not in the middle of a webinar, I hope.
No,
Okay, good.
no, just one morning I was like, what happened? So that was a problem. One one time was the power outage. Right, we had a power outage. So that doesn't
Hmm.
count. We
Right.
had a countrywide power outage, which was
Whoa.
very rare. Like 1 second really happened again. I mean, it might, but probably not. And it was from Spain because we're on the same grid and whatever. And some people they don't know what happened and it's a little conspiracy, but whatever, it just went down and
Hmm.
it wasn't a cyber attack. That's all I know.
Right.
But the other time I woke up and it was gone and I had to go into the store
Mm.
because I can't call because they don't speak English. Plus I guess I could have used my phone. I do have phone data,
Yeah.
but I just went into the store and they said, "Oh, sorry.
Oops.
We don't know what happened. We'll put it back."
Nice.
But other
That
than
was it.
that, I never had any issue. I had more issues in California with Comcast. It went down
Mm.
all the
Oh yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
definitely need at least one or two backups
Yeah,
or
and I
something like
do
that.
have. You can get like a hotspot here. I can't remember if the hotspot itself was 30 euros, but it's very inexpensive, but only works in Portugal. And you get it through Vodafone. And then you get a chip, hotspot chip thing, like your SIM card
Yeah.
that you put in. But the minute you start it, you have 30 days unlimited, but it's also 30 euros. So,
Nice.
and then my phone is a hotspot because I pay, $25 a month, which the Portuguese think is a lot of money,
Oh
which
yeah.
Some people, it is a lot of money, but I have unlimited phone, and hotspot. The hotspot's not unlimited, but I've never, okay, once I went over when I was homeless, but
Yeah,
before
when you were streaming.
I wasn't streaming.
So what's next for you in Europe? Where are you going next? Have you planned that out yet?
Well, I don't have my visa. So this is this is a thorn.
Mm,
So my residency visa expired in December of last year,
hmm
and they switched agencies from one agency to another to handle the new visas. The extension, or not even extension, but the next visa. So the first one that you get on both the D7 and the D8 is a 2 year, and then you get a 3 year. And then it used to be that you could apply for residency after that, after 5 years. And I've gone through all the things that you need to do to apply, but now they're thinking of changing it.
Oh,
So
geez.
we'll find out in October if they're going to up it to 10 years. We don't know. Anyway, so everybody's expired, and then they have given us an unofficial extension. So we're not here illegally, but we can't leave and come back
Right. So you're kind
unless,
of trapped in Portugal for the moment.
yeah, I'm completely trapped. And for
Mm,
somebody who doesn't like to be trapped, it's not a good feeling.
yeah.
So they finally sent out the emails. I got the email to go to the whatever it's called, the embassy or whatever, wherever it is, it's called AMA. And I missed the appointment, which is super unlike me, but I was so stressed out that I got the day wrong.
Oh no.
And I could show you, I have, this much paperwork printed out for the appointment. I uploaded everything. I paid the 200 or 300 euros, did everything, and missed the appointment. So now I'm told I go to the bottom of the list and I have to wait. So we all have an
Ah,
extension to October 15th. They think they're going to get to everybody by then, but they won't. I'm going to go in on Monday actually and see if I can get the appointment or not. I'm told I can't, but I'm going to try anyway.
you sure you can't just bring him donuts or a pizza or something like that? And
I'm bringing a translator. Maybe I can bring donuts and pizza too. I'll ask them.
that always works at the Greek consulate. Hey, here's a
It
pizza for
does?
the boys at the back.
That's a good idea. Maybe I will.
Yeah, you just, for lunch or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, that might work. Give it to the guard who's like lets you in.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Got a
like that
special
idea.
treat.
I like it. And so then what I found out is after your appointment, even if I had gone to my appointment, it takes 9 months now
Oh,
to get
wow.
your
So you're going to
card.
be there for at least a year.
Yeah, I'm not
Mm.
happy.
Okay, so we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, so I don't know what's up for me. My fantasy is to get a van here,
Yeah.
to buy something that I can either do home exchange, because I
hmm
love home exchange. I've done it before and I love it. And rent it or rent it out. And I wouldn't rent it out for above market value at all, ever. Not going to do that. Or just live somewhere, and obviously. So I'd have to move somewhere smaller than here
Right.
and travel. That's what I really want to do. And I would love to travel in a van because I have a new dog because my old dog did pass away here.
Mm.
But I have a Portuguese dog and she's crazy. So yeah, she's a herding breed, which I didn't know.
Well, so your stretch goal is like once this all done is to get another van and travel around Europe in the same way you did the US. Is that right?
Yeah. Or I
Nice.
got a sleeping bag for my car. I have a smart car, and one side
Just
does
do it
go
that
down.
way.
There's no bump. I could just, why not? And the dog could sit in her own seat, and I
You're
could
such a
just,
minimalist. I love it.
I try. I try.
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we got to wrap up. But if you have do you have any words of advice for somebody aspiring to get into the life? Like what would you say to them?
I would say do it. I hate when people say just do it, but I would say it's for me and everyone I know, it has been worth it. Like
Mm.
100%. And nothing is perfect. And I have a lot of problems here. It's life. Life is up and down,
You have
but
problems
one
everywhere, though. That's the thing. It's like everyone
everywhere.
thinks it's gonna be worse, but it's not. It's probably better in many ways.
Yeah, it's been 100% worth it. I don't regret it at all.
Mm.
I don't wish, maybe some things differently, but overall, no. So I would say just trust in the process and do what you need to do, whatever works for you to move forward and and really live your dream. Because if this is your dream and this is what you want to do, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I have friends that are traveling full-time digital nomads on 2000 a month. It can be done. They can't go to expensive countries, but there's plenty of other places.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we just have to adjust our perception because
Yeah.
we're stuck in this perception that everything costs a lot of money, everything's
Mhm.
expensive, and I need a huge amount of cash in order to do this.
Oh,
But
and
the
you don't.
reality is the exact opposite.
Yeah, it really is. And I think the first step, at least for me, besides researching, because that was daydreaming and researching was the first step, was to minimize,
Mm,
was to get rid of my stuff. Because do you want stuff or do you want experiences?
right. Right.
And you have to at some point choose, I'm gonna let go of this. Like all of this stuff that I have is pretty much I got when I was here and I'm not attached to it,
Right.
except for the masks I made. But
So
other
did
than
you have
that,
a problem getting rid of your stuff initially?
initially, yeah, and then I got super into it. Like,
This feels
like,
great as you're tossing
yeah, like
stuff
I
out.
got dopamine from getting rid of my stuff. I was like, oh, what else can I get right? Like I got really into it. It became fun. I started watching extreme minimalism YouTube videos, and I'm like, well, if
Nice.
they can live without a couch,
Why not, right?
no,
Did you have a couch in your van? No, right? Or you must have had something to sit on.
I had a bed. That's all I had. A bed and a swivel seat.
Yeah, see, I think we all suffer, at least in the States, from too much stuff. We could
Yeah,
all live in much smaller spaces. That's why I love tiny homes, because it's like
yeah,
it's kind of like this is, and I always push for this. It's like people talk about homelessness and things like that. It's like, well, the problem is we haven't figured out what the minimum viable home is, and I think a
right.
tiny home is what we need. And I think the more space we have, the more we fill it with junk that we don't need.
That is 100% true. I remember one time in my apartment in Marin, and somebody came in and they said, "You don't have to fill every single wall. Why is there furniture on every wall?" And I thought, well, that's how you're supposed to do it.
That's
No,
right.
no, you're not. And I have like, this is like my little yoga area. Yoga, I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah, I can see
yoga,
it.
yoga weightlifting, so like you can make things in rooms.
Yeah, the
You
room
can
doesn't have to
do
be chock full of everything.
and you
It's
can do a lot with a little bit of space. And
yeah,
there's some of those cool videos of, well, they're mostly architects, but they built some like loft or whatever in like little teeny
yeah, I
spaces.
love
So,
that kind of stuff. I love it. Or the one in Singapore where they have tube apartments, just like a giant pipe. They shove it in
okay, I haven't
between
seen that.
buildings, and they like there's these narrow spaces in between buildings, and they just push pipes in, and then they put apartments in each pipe, and
I
then
love
like
that. I'm
and then
gonna look that
elevator up to
up.
each pipe. It's really cool.
That's really cool.
There's so many
That
ways for people to live, and we're just stuck in these boxes now, and we need to break out of the box and do something different. Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. If someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Well, Substack or my website is expatonabudget.com. And then I have links to my Substack and I think what is Substack again? It's expatonabudget.substack.com.
Yeah, exactly right. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
okay.
Well, I'll put
There you
all
go.
the links in the show notes so people can go directly
Okay.
to you if they want to. So that's great. Well, thank you so
Thank
much. This has been fantastic.
you. I appreciate your time.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to
Okay.
you later.
Will you stay on for a minute so I can ask you questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or then you have to edit this,
I will have
right?
to cut this out, but that's okay. Have to remember that.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm just wondering, how long have you been there in the US?
Here,
Yeah,
about 30 years
Canada.
now.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. So
yeah.
you've been there. Okay. All
So
right. That
yeah.
was my question. Okay.
Why do you ask that?
Well, I didn't know if you were like, had just moved there.
Oh no, yeah, I moved here in 97 or something like that.
And
98.
do you want to be a digital nomad? Were you a digital nomad?
I'm a partial digital nomad. So I spend months away, but I always come back here at this
Okay. So you
point.
have a home base. Okay.
Yeah, at this
Yeah.
point.
That's
But eventually I want to move more to be fully digitally nomadic. But I'm lucky right now is that I'm working for a company that is work from anywhere. so I can
Yeah.
work from anywhere. And the only thing that's sort of stopping me from working in all sorts of crazy places is the sort of the time zone difference because they try to keep to Eastern time.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why I can't go to South America or places like that where it's easy to stay
Or
within the
even,
time zone.
I just had a client who's moving to Portugal and she's still going to keep Central Time.
Oh yeah, no, I spend a lot of time in Greece,
Yeah.
and it just basically moves my hours from 6 to 2 down to 4 to midnight, which is
Yeah.
fine. I can do that,
Fine.
but
Yeah. It's
it
not
kind of
terrible.
puts a dent in your hanging out with the friends at the taverna.
Yeah, Greece is big on that, right?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
like nothing happens until after the sun goes down.
It does keep happening at midnight. It's still happening in
Oh
Greece.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we
People
get
have dinner at 10 p.m. and stuff like
yeah.
that. It's a great
Where do
lifestyle.
you go? Do you go to Athens?
I have a place in Athens, but
Oh, nice.
I there's lots of other islands that I just love going to, like especially Naxos. Naxos is my favorite island because it's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I almost got there, but I went to Paros instead.
Oh, Paros is beautiful
I
too.
love Paros.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind
yeah.
of like the third like if you've got a lot of money, it's Mykonos, Santorini, Paros.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. And I went to all three, and I would not do Mykonos and Santorini again.
No,
No.
once is enough.
Yeah, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did
Oh
them.
no, yeah, you should definitely do it. It's just that you don't
Yeah.
have to keep going back, right?
No, no. Yeah, I really like Paros and the anti-Paros I went to, but nothing was really there, but
Yeah.
a good restaurant.
Well,
But
that's where Tom Hanks lives, right? Isn't that where he has a place?
I don't know. I didn't know.
That's what I heard. He's
Mm.
he's an honorary Greek citizen, apparently.
Oh,
'Cause
cool. Oh, that's
I
awesome.
wish I
I
could be
love.
an honor. I'm.
So you're not?
I don't
You're
know.
not a.
I actually do have Greek citizenship as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, there you go. So you could go anywhere in the Shungun.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can, but my wife can't. So I gotta ship
Yeah.
her off to Albania for 3 months and then come
Yeah.
back.
Right. Right. 3 months here, 3 months there. Yeah. Well, you would go with her to Albania. It's
Of
supposed to
course,
be
I'm
gorgeous.
kidding.
But there's lots of options. That's the thing. That's why I talk a lot about the Shungun Shuffle because I know a woman, I interviewed her for my first podcast. She did it for 14 years.
Yeah, yeah. But there's countries you can go to now. Albania is not in the EU yet,
Not
right?
in the, yeah.
Yeah, so there's countries on the fringe of the EU that you can go to that are not too far away that are very similar lifestyles. So that's where
Yes,
you can spend your 3 months out instead of having to
exactly.
come back to the States.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. Shotgun Shuffle. I'm always about spending it in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Don't don't go. Yeah. No.
Don't
Stay
come back
here.
if you don't have to.
No. If it wasn't for my mom, I would never go back.
Yeah.
And I would maybe visit friends once every 5 years, but I go back every year because of my mom.
Yeah.
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 Okay, well, I have to jump to something else, so I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It was
No, no,
great
no.
talking with you.
I told you I'm a talker. So thank you
Well,
for
maybe we
the.
can do this again. There's lots more
Okay.
stuff to cover.
Okay, that'd
Sounds
be
great.
great.
All
Cool.
right, talk to you
All
soon.
right. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive from mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained. I thrive.